you guys? How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. The frogs, there's going to be a lot of frogs in the background. We're on Watts Island tonight, but there's frogs on this island. So anyways, today is the 7-year anniversary of the Watts family tragedy. This is, it's what really brought me to doing live streams this case. And I want to talk about a bunch of different things tonight. I want to go through a couple articles, talk about what Chris is up to now, a little bit about the latest sighting of NK, maybe just touch on when Dylan came on for the interviews and stuff like that. And then also I want to give you an update on the lawsuit, which if some of you guys, some of you guys are new and don't know, and some of you guys do know, there was a huge situation with the creator who was making videos, that said they knew Chris, were talking to Chris, and they ended up getting a lot of money from a viewer who is now a friend of mine, and there's been a settlement in their case. So I want to just talk about that. I'm not going to name that creator. We're not going to even talk about that for too long. We'll do that in just a little bit. I want to show you guys the decision from the judge. So we got to go through a bunch of stuff. We're going to go through what Chris is up to as well. So, or what he's allegedly up to. And it's all came out this summer. It's kind of interesting. But hey, Julie with no E. Hey, Neat. Hey, Coffee. Hey, J13. Hey, Grateful Mama. Dave G. Good to see you. Hey, Carly. It is so sad. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Margie. Hey, Bogart. Margie, that is something new that YouTube's done. Hey, Tobeans. Hey, Casey Lips. Or hey, Lips. I read your name like that. Hey, it's about time. Adrian, good to see you. J Rose 307, Mrs. Troy. Okay. And forgive me, I'm a little bit thrown off. Hey, Mallory, because like I said, I'm trying to get back into doing YouTube regularly, and it's just weird when you haven't been you get used to it where you're talking to yourself, like you're talking to other people, but you don't hear their voices, right? And you have to keep moving and keep, I don't know, it's just hard. And when you haven't been doing it, it's just kind of weird. I gotta be honest. So hang in there with me. But hey, Kelly, if you know what creator we're speaking of, put a thumbs up. Hey, Teacup. Okay, so 7 years already. Yeah. I'm not surprised there's been a judgment in that case. It has to do with Angie, who's here right now. She was taken advantage of, in my opinion, and I'm not surprised. It took a forever to get to the end, and I'm just happy to see it. We see a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of BS that goes around surrounding some of these cases and stuff, and I'm just not a fan of it at all. Hey, Bobby Joe. Hey, Tony. Now, at the end of the day, let's talk about, let me pull up this article. Okay. We're going to watch also about a 4-minute clip from another creator regarding Chris and his new girlfriend, which she happened to be on a visitors list that I put out, and I didn't even know it. I did a records request, and I just put it out. Like, these are the people on there, and yeah. Oh, this is not what I meant to pull up, but it is interesting. But a year ago, the headlines, Chris Watts, who murdered wife and smothered his little girls as they begged for mercy. Oh my God, lives in fear of fellow inmates. They want to kill him. Apparently, Koberger has people trying to attack him right now too, and they deserve it. I hope they live in fear for all their days. This is where I wanted to go. So where is Chris Watts now? Inside his life in prison 7 years after murdering his wife. I'm not going to read through this entire article, but we're going to scroll through it and kind of just look. So Chris has been serving a life sentence for the murders of Shanann, Bella, and Celeste since 2018. Now, it's crazy because we see, his case moved through the courts very quickly. Very quickly. Need to know. Chris was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He was transferred to a maximum security prison in Wisconsin for his safety, and he allegedly wrote letters referencing his affair with Nicole Kessinger. So, letters, journal entries, what do you call it? Here's the thing. You guys know Dylan Tallman, Chris's cellmate, and the only person who's actually gotten to be not cellmate, a cell, how would you even say that? Because they're not in the same cell, they're just in the same area. But he's the only person who's actually gotten close to Chris since all of this. He came on my show or my live, and we talked, I don't know, we talked about everything. Now, did I believe some of the things he said? Yes. But even if he's telling 100% facts of what Chris said, I don't believe Chris. So everything he said, it's kind of take with a grain of salt type stuff. Dude, these frogs are insane. Hey, Tess. Hey, Sarah. Ward mate. Yeah. Yeah. And he did say that Chris basically blamed Nicole Kessinger without saying it without saying it. We read through all those books that he wrote. It was interesting to me that he wrote these books. They were very short. It took like an hour to read through the full thing, and he wrote 3 of them. And I kind of thought, they could have all been done in one. But for the most part, I think that I do believe Chris said the things that Dylan claims that he said, at least for the majority of it, for the most of it. But I don't believe Chris. So, are they super loud? I don't think Chris has said everything, but that's just me. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said, but he definitely blamed her. Like, yeah, he flat out blamed her. I mean, I'm not saying he said she committed this crime or she helped with this. No, but he said that she was evil and this all was because of her. And these are my words, the way I interpret his words, because some of these things were like Bible. It was like, what do you call it? Devotionals, so it was religious. Casey, thank you for being a member for 23 months. Love you, Allie Mods in chat. Oh, love you back. And thank you. If he was truly sorry, he would say everything. Calls her a Jezebel, right? Okay. So the books have been pulled down, Dylan's books. Jamie, his friend who was helping with the books, and him have went their separate ways. And Jamie, she typed up all of those books. Her and her family did the artwork on them, and I don't believe she ever made a cent from doing that. Just saying that, just according to what I've been told and seen. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it, but the books are no longer available, and I don't have them. I gave them away for a giveaway as soon as we quit reading them. Okay, now, so it wasn't letters. They got it a little bit wrong, but he did write devotional entries regarding her. So it says, days after they went missing on August 13th of 2018, I cannot believe it's been 7 years, he confessed to their murders. Police didn't buy his allegation that he only killed Shanann after she killed their kids. I cannot believe there are people to this day who truly believe that Shanann had a role in this. That's bullshit. I don't believe that. You can clearly see, in my opinion, Tammy hand him that excuse or that storyline, just to get him to confess to what he did at all. So, oh my God, I lost both of my shoes just now. I'm so sorry. Okay. Who is Chris Watts? Look at them there. Oh my gosh. So, you know what's kind of crazy? Cece would be 10 now, and I think Bella would be turning 12 in December. They're both born on the 17th. Cece was born July 17th, 2025, and I think Bella was December 17th, or 2015, and I think Bella was December 17th, 2013. Somebody can, if you know, or you can Google it, let me know. But I was just looking at it. She would be 10 and 12. Oh, Mama Bear, thank you for being a member for 31 months. I know, I can't believe it's been 7 years either, and thank you. And Neat, oh, happy birthday, Margie. Thank you for being a member 25 months. I tried to, Tess, yes, but it didn't go very far. I know, J13, their videos, that's part of why I think, like, it, in, like, this case, like, really took over so many people's, like, hearts, like, and minds. And I think it's because we were watching their videos, and I don't know, you can just, it's like they're so close but so far, you know? You can see them, but, and you just wish that things were different, but you know how things end for them, and it's just, it's hard to watch. Look at them there. Oh my gosh. So in November, so that's how quick it moved, like I was saying at the beginning. From August to November, start to finish, boom, done. No more investigation, no nothing, which is crazy. The evidence against him was overwhelming. A source close to him told People at the time he had no choice considering the evidence. It took time for him to come around, but he did. It took time. Shoot, look at like Koperger and Stearns. They wait until the very last minute. I had kids the same time as her. So then your kids are, you know, close to in age to them. Oh, Margie, I hope you have the best day. Happy birthday. Today's my brother's birthday, too. So he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. He had 9 total charges, 5 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of unlawful termination of a pregnancy, and 3 counts of tampering with a dead body. Where is Chris Watts now? Oh, I clicked off, sorry. Although Chris was convicted and sentenced in Colorado, he was transferred in December to Dodge Correctional, a maximum security prison located in Wisconsin, which is where he meets Dylan, right? He also met another guy, David Carter, who came out and did interviews and did TV shows. Listen, the amount of people who have, this is really going to tie everything together, the scammers and the bullshitters. David Carter did many interviews, was on TV, talked about his time in jail with Chris Watts in Wisconsin. We know that's where he met Dylan. Don't forget about Sherilyn Cadle, you know, going to visit him and writing the book, the mini books that she's writing. Okay. And she recently broke the news that he was going to, if I'm correct, in the little video clip we're going to watch, it's like a 4-minute video of a creator on Rumble who used to be on YouTube, but he is friends with the Watts family. I'm going to share his link because I'm just going to play like a quick 4-minute part. But he's going to talk about how the news is actually true about this girlfriend. Sherilyn is still knee deep in it. The woman has wrote 3-4 books on it at this point. She even wrote a book about parents who, you know, filicide. What do you call that? Is that right? Filicide. And, of course, the Watts family was included in that too. So, hey, Chief. The Big 5-0. That is awesome, Margie. I don't know, Amber. Am I wrong? David Carter, that man was like a disease. You couldn't get rid of him. A for Advocate said, I'm so happy that you're here. Amanda, we've been through it with this whole situation together. Yeah, she's still, she's wrote many. I don't know about at this very moment, but yeah. Okay, so while incarcerated, he's received 2 conduct reports. One in 2020 for unauthorized forms of communication and unauthorized transfer of property, and the other in 2021 for disobeying orders and possession of miscellaneous contraband. Now, I did a request with the prison, and I asked for everything. Any, write-ups that he's had, any complaints that he's made, any visitors that he's had, and I did get his visitor list. And like I said, I put that out in a video, didn't recognize any of the names, didn't think too much of it. But it's going to tie in together with what he's doing now and this new girlfriend. In 2019, it was reported that he had the photos of the girls and Shanann in his cell, which led to public outrage and online petitions, garnering more than 20,000 signatures, wanting officials to remove the photos. But the DOC claims there's no legal basis for that. In addition to exercising and working as a custodian, which I know that Amber had a source that spoke about that maybe last year, Chris has corresponded with multiple women during his incarceration. They send sexy pictures and he responds, the source told People in November. There are a lot of women who think he's handsome and misunderstood. They send a lot of letters. The source continued, he's got nothing else to do. So he feeds his ego in that way because he's not popular at all in prison. He's in protective custody. The only outlet he has is with these letters. Okay. So, yeah, we did go to hell and back. Angie, you went to hell and back. And I'm so glad that some of it, it's somewhat over. Hey, Jim. All right. So, hey, Midnight Lace. Now, it is interesting. Isn't it crazy how these people get all of these, a man who kills his wife and kids? How do women want to talk to him? I don't understand that, and I find it's pretty interesting, the psychological aspect of it. Who in the hell is attracted to that? For me as a woman, I'm attracted to a man who would go to work and provide for his family and work really hard and make you feel safe and make you feel taken care of and help you carry stuff and help you with the doors and the opposite of, I'm attracted to a man who would take care of his responsibilities and his loved ones. The opposite of Chris Watts. I think the channels and trolls who bash Shanann have helped make women reach out more to Chris. I can't believe how people bash her. You know what I mean? It was so disgusting at one point, especially when this case was really bigger on YouTube and there was more of an audience for it. People were so nasty. Shame on you. You know what? Speaking of the audience, though, I just want to say, when I was looking today for updates, I realized how many channels currently are putting out old information and misinformation on Watts, and there is they are reaching tons of people. I don't know how they're doing it. And Amber, we talked about this on your channel the other night. Let me drop Amber's link. Her and Bindi and I had a conversation about some of this stuff and about Watts and just many different things. And we talked about some of the AI videos that had come out and the misinformation. But yeah, I just don't know how you're attracted to that. But okay, so now we're going to go over to Rumble. Okay, and I'm just going to be completely, oh wait, I wanted to mention that actually. I want to be completely this is what it is with this creator on Rumble. He don't like me for God knows what reason, and I really don't give a shit. I just want to play this quick 4 minutes of his 3-hour video, and I'm going to share his link. We're going to play it with fair use. It's not a YouTube video, so it is what it is. But I think that it's important for this part of the conversation. So this YouTube channel puts out the visitors list and says, a couple channels. And one that's pretty big and says, Chris Watts is going to get married. Now, we have a couple big things of news that have happened recently, right? We see the Nicole Kessinger spotted at the funeral, and then Chris Watts is planning on getting married. Well, this creator on Rumble, like I said, not very fond of me for God knows what reason. He is friends with Chris's parents. He has been to their house and visited and all kinds of things. And he truly does have, I believe, probably the most accurate information when it comes to at least his parents. Okay. And he confirmed this about this woman. So we're going to go watch this 4 minutes. Okay. And then we're going to talk about, hey, Whoopi, I love you. Then we're going to talk about this, the ending of this situation with the channel that was pretending to know Chris and taking a lot of money from viewers, including from Angie. And we've done a lot of videos on it. So like I said, I don't want to even mention her name. She doesn't exist here anymore. We just want to follow up because so many people have asked me what happened. How did that end? So, all right, let's go over to this Rumble video. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Will one of the mods click it and make sure that it works because it looks pretty long? And I will put it into the description at the end of this live. Yeah, it looks like it's taken up 2 comments. Justice happened. Yes, Mallory, it's gone. Yeah, it's been gone. But you can go watch the old videos. I could totally make a playlist or something. Okay, thank you guys. Awesome. Thank you. The top one is working. Now, we're going to watch 4 minutes. Like I said, I'm going to mute so the frogs don't make it hard to hear. All right, here we go. We're going to pause along the way.
Well, this is going to be a really good live stream. I'm going to put a squash to some rumors, or I'm going to confirm some rumors, whichever one you want to hear about. I can assure each and every one of you that I have got some what's breaking news if you really want to hear it.
Okay, so I just want to say, I do have a video, like there's a tribute that someone made and it shows the kids and a bunch of really sweet pictures. I think I'll play that at the end. I don't want to mix it in with what he's doing now. I think they deserve more respect than that. But at the end, we'll end with that because it really will show you how this case touched so many and how people were easy targets that were invested, people that this case grabbed their heart because of these sweet kids and Shanann. And so I want to show some pictures of them, but after we get through what he's up to now. Okay.
Well, it's not breaking news for me, but it's breaking news for everyone else. Considering I've known about it for about 7 months. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to my moderators. Welcome Ronnie and Cindy, who I know are both watching. It's good to see.
Ronnie and Cindy are Chris's parents. Like I said, they're friends, and he says they're watching this message, okay?
Plenty of you here today as I give you a bit of what's news and I go through the final closing argument for Karen Reid's brilliant defense attorney, Alan Jackson. Yes, I'm over on Twitch as well. If you're not already following me there, you can. Apart from that, righto, I'll get into it because I've been granted permission to speak on this subject. Okay, so rumor has it there's a dude here on YouTube He loves to steal everybody's work,
Not gonna even.
and that's all he seems to do.
Okay.
But I want to know what role Cheryl and Cadel has in all of this.
So, like I said, I believe that Sherilyn posted that he was getting married or something. I could be wrong about that. Jules, there's nothing going on. Okay, so this isn't a YouTuber. It's from a different site, but they are friends with Chris's parents, and we're just going to play a quick 4-minute clip of him confirming a rumor about what's going on with Chris now. That's what we're talking about. Hey, Triple L. Oh, Moira, thank you for being here. We're talking about and discussing Chris's new relationship. And this is just kind of like a confirmation, because there were several YouTube videos that went out because this person's name was on the visitors list. But there was no confirmation until this. Okay. Yeah, he did, I believe. But I have no idea what happened. I have okay, regarding this, he says this guy likes to steal people's work. I don't know who he's talking about. Maybe someone does. But I mean, if there's big news in a case, a lot of channels are going to want to talk about it. And like for me, I'm going to play this quick clip because I want to show you where the information I'm talking about comes from. You know what I mean? Now, it's different if you sit there and just play through the whole video and just pause along the way and go, oh, wow, or whatever. But sometimes it is necessary. Okay, here we go.
I think there's a secret plan somewhere involving Miss Cadel. And I believe she is the one feeding the scumbag from Minnesota
No clue what that's about. So just,
information.
I'm ignoring that for the purpose of our
And
conversation.
the person who is feeding her, I believe, is the girl Chris Watts has actually seen. And that's my opinion. I haven't got proof of it. But I firmly believe a book is basically going to be the ultimate plan.
Okay.
I also know Chris has never told her a thing about the case. But if a book gets written, she can say anything she fucking wants.
He did tell her some about the case because we have his handwriting with him giving that third confession, which is where he says the girls woke back up. And he literally claims he had to take their life twice. It's pretty disgusting, but that's in his handwriting. But okay, let's keep listening.
Anyway, I can assure everybody, for months and months, Chris Watts has been planning on getting married.
So he said, I can assure everyone. When I first heard this, I was like, wait, did he say he hasn't? The way he said it, I don't know. It just didn't hit my brain right. But he says, for months and months, I can assure everyone Chris Watts has been planning on getting married. Which, just the thought of that is infuriating. Let me take a second, though, and just say thank you to Kelly, who said, compared to the rest, I'm the baby, for being a member for 7 months. Thank you, Kelly, and I'm glad that you're here. And yeah, enjoy the conversations. And then Sunshine Mafia, thank you for being a member for 19 months. So glad I caught alive. Hey, all. You guys are so cute. Cute pictures. Okay. All right, so he claims Chris has been planning for months on getting married. Okay.
I will confirm it to you all. And it's something that Ronnie and Cindy don't want to be any part of whatsoever. Only speaking to Cindy a very short time ago. If this were to go ahead, what an absolute kick in the guts to the Ruzic family. You know, they're very, very upset and thinking of how horrible this is. To the Ruzic family, to Cindy, to Shanann, Bella, Cece, and unborn Nico.
Okay. So that's basically all I wanted to watch of that. So yeah, apparently he is planning on getting married and his parents are not happy about it. I don't think there was anything else that he said in that we needed to know besides, but yeah, apparently it is true. And like I said, for the purposes of verifying something like that, someone who is close to Chris's parents, I believe that. So, okay. I'm sorry, peanut butter conspiracy. I believe him on that. Now, I get people's feelings and I totally understand. I do. I'll be honest with you. I hadn't watched for a long time while he was still over here. So I have no idea about that. Like, I don't like anybody who bashes Shanann. I think that it's gross. As women, like, look, it's hard to be a woman. It's hard to be a mom. It's hard to be a working mom. It is. And some days we might be more sassy. Some days we might have attitudes. We all are going through, it's just, everybody's going through a lot in their lives, right? At different times. I don't support bashing other women like that for no reason, just because you don't like how they are in this, like, people are watching her videos and bashing her because of it. If nothing tragic had happened to her, I wouldn't support it. I certainly don't support it with her being a victim of a quadruple homicide, because that's what it was. I mean, so, I'm not a fan of that. I just think that it's interesting Chris is getting married. So what, you kill your wife and kids because you're with this one girl? I just don't understand the thought process of that. I really don't. I'm sorry, but she had to wear the pants because he didn't. I mean, look what he did. Instead of getting a divorce like a regular person, he killed her and his kids. Yes, A for advocate. Hey, Johnny. What is wrong with these women? Who would want to marry a family annihilator? Sunshine Mafia, who knows? But you know what? I was looking for that word. So thank you. Family annihilator. No one is perfect. Let me tell you what, I have my moments too, for sure. I've had them on here, but we all have our moments. So yeah, he is disrespectful to all women. Yeah. So I heard on Nancy Grace earlier that AJ is representing another high profile case. Oh, really? And Alan Jackson. You mean? I don't know. I think he's in the picture just because he was on that update. But okay. No, he's not marrying the lady he was cheating with. Now, that lady, Nicole Kessinger, she hadn't been seen for years and years. Recently, somebody spotted her on a funeral footage. Like, I still can't believe how crazy that is. You see, like, you're watching a funeral, obviously, of somebody you know, or why would you be watching it? And you see her and you're like, oh my God, Nicole Kessinger. Like, she probably didn't expect to be spotted that way. They do not. Julie, I'm so glad you asked that. I quit playing it because I was just already done with his video. But he did go on to say right after that, they have visited, but they don't, even when they get married, they don't allow conjugal visits there. Also, apparently they have very long visits, like 3-hour long visits. And I saw that on another channel. So he is a follower, so Shanann had to wear the pants. These women have issues, to say the least. And the constant bashing her for doing videos at home and posting a lot. It was her job. Exactly. I agree. I do. Okay, so now I want to just talk to you quickly about the situation with the creator, who's not here anymore. Name doesn't matter, but I will tell you this. She, knew Chris and was writing him letters and was, going to write a book with him, and got close with viewer, who's also was a viewer of my channel at the time, Angie, who's here now, or was here. We do have the same last name, but we are not related. It just happened to be that way. But, Angie started telling me, well, they're writing a book, and, Chris is saying this and that behind the scenes. And I'm like, this just doesn't make sense. Long story short, I had to get her to see she was being scammed. She came out on YouTube and talked about it. It was the whole thing, because there are several elements to this situation besides just the money and all of that. There's a lot to it. It's very confusing, and I couldn't even go through it if I tried. At the end of the day, this went on and on with a lot of back and forth. Most people were very supportive of Angie and believing, her, but wanting to know what happened, wanting an update. And finally, we have an update actually a couple months ago, and I wasn't sure about if I wanted to share this, how I should share it. They had court. Now, in the state they were in, they don't see a judge for civil. It was a civil proceeding. And if the amount is under $50,000, they see an arbitrator who is and does the same thing as a judge. It's afterwards signed off by a judge. It's no different. It's just to keep, because the court process is really backed up there. Well, the day of court, the person doesn't show up. And the judge said, well, I still want you to put on your case. It has to be proven to me. I need to see and have it proven to me of what's happened before I make a decision. He was not just going to decide by default. And that's a fact. And Angie's attorney put on their case, and there has been a decision. So I just want to let people know who are invested in that. Right before the live, that's why I was late, I decided I'm going to mark out their name. Like I said, the person is no one and means nothing to me. I wouldn't want it. They're not on YouTube anymore, and I wouldn't want to give them attention, even if it's kind of like I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire type of thing. So their name was marked out. But the arbitration hearing in this matter was held on the 3rd day of June, having considered the pre-hearing statements of the parties, the testimony of witnesses, the exhibits offered for consideration, and arguments on behalf of the parties, and based upon the evidence presented at the hearing, the arbitrator finds in favor of plaintiff Angie against the defendant for cause of action of fraudulent misrepresentation, and award damages in the amount of $9,301, which were the amounts given to Chris Watts and Mark Garagos, and punitive damages of $15,000. Now, this actually wasn't even all that Angie had spent or helped with, but here's the thing. It's better, if you don't know, this person pretended to have a relationship with Mark Garagos, pretended that, they were trying to spin that Chris was going to get out, that he was proven to be innocent, that there was, footage and different things that found that, he was proven to be innocent. Now, at this time, all these conspiracies were going around on YouTube about him being drugged and this and that. So, it was easier to make up these crazy lies and these bullshit stories. Regardless, at the end of the day, Mark Garagos wasn't involved. Chris Watts wasn't involved. Angie was, this is the order. I don't know if she'll ever get it. That's a whole nother thing. But also, the arbitrator finds in favor of the plaintiffs, $1,500 for defamation, for bullshit lies that were said on YouTube about her and her family. All other causes of action would be unnecessary to address, as they involve the same actions resulting in the same award. So, freaking awesome. Happy to see, this is a case that actually played out, a defamation case we see all the time, all these lawsuits and all this bullshit. This is one that is you know, I'm just really thankful. I know that Angie deserves, she deserves this, and the things that were said about her and her family and the lies that were told to her and all the craziness that was involved. It was a whole thing, like I said. It was just really gross and couldn't be better. This is really great. Don't ever give up, Angie said. Ain't that the truth? I'm really happy for you. God is so good. Yeah, we won. Right, Tess. I'll never forget the arbitrator's face during the whole thing. I kept thinking, God, I hope he understands all of this. And thank God he did. He did a great job, like literally following everything, paying very close attention. There was a lot to it, and it's confusing because there's a lot of these messages between Mark Garagos and Chris and this and that, and it takes a lot to fully understand this crazy story. It really does. And he, you know, I'm thankful that he tried. And yeah, so that's over. Shame on them for taking advantage of others. Hey, Sprinkled Donuts. So, other than that, the last thing I wanted to look at with you guys, let me see really quick. I was defamed horribly in that by not only this person, but some of her friends too. And I'll never forget that. I will never forget it. Absolutely disgusting. And I see, you know, I've still seen them on here doing it to other people. I don't understand people on here sometimes, you guys. I just don't. Like, you must be really miserable to just straight up lie on people knowingly. All right, so Nicole Kessinger was spotted. Wow, this one has, look at this. I searched her name. Here's the shorts that come up. This one has 723,000 views. Let's look.
On August 13th of 2018, Chris Watts murdered
criminality. All right, let's hear what she has to say.
His pregnant wife, Shanann, and their 2 beautiful daughters. Also, he could start a new life with his mistress, Nicole Kessinger, who essentially went into hiding shortly after the plea deal where Chris admitted to killing his wife and daughters. Now we...
Okay, so here's the footage of her at the funeral. I'll just share this link so you guys have this. But I think it's crazy that, you know, somebody was watching a funeral and just happened to spot her. I do believe it's her. Wonder what she thinks about Chris having a new girlfriend. NK would have never stayed with Chris. NK has been... Yeah, she definitely looks a little bit different, that's for sure, you know, but I'm not gonna... 7, nobody now. This was old, but yeah, I'm not gonna body shame her, you know what I mean? Because again, even though I have my thoughts about her involvement, and I will say I don't feel bad about not liking a person who, when they find out that their boyfriend has a missing wife and kids, and then they find out that they, you know, are potentially not alive and they're trying to hurt the investigation instead of help it, then I have a problem with you. Like, I have no problem with saying you're a piece of shit, but I still don't want to body shame her. But she definitely does look a little bit different. But let's keep listening to the end.
Nicole Kessinger for the first time in 7.5 years.
Crazy. All right, let's watch another one just to see. Wow, that has 723,000 views. That's why I clicked that one. That's awesome. All right, here we go. Truth Untold. I'm going to share this link in the description too, or in the chat right now. Dude, are they going to play it? No, and I'm sharing the link. Don't, well, you might not want to use that one. Dude, all right, let's try this one. Just by the way, that reminds me. Taylor Swift, I was just watching that. Tess, I bet you were watching it with her on Travis Kelce's podcast. There was one, I took a screenshot because I was going to tell you guys anyways, there was 1.3 million people watching at one time. 1.3 million. Chris Watts' mistress, Nicole Kessinger's rare photos. We'll watch this, and then I'm going to wrap it up with some pictures of the girls and Shanann, and I'll share the link from that video too. But here is a link for this. I don't think I've ever seen that one. Interesting. Wow. I know I've never seen these. I've seen that one. Have you guys seen all of these photos of NK? I'm totally a Swiftie. Might have some stuff about Blake Lively. It's interesting. Yes, Jim. I'll send a screenshot actually. I'll show you guys. I've never seen numbers like that either, but they were on, I don't remember what it's called. I have a problem with someone who continues to date a man who says he has a wife, 2 kids, and another on the way. However, he gives her that information. However, he gives her that. Right. No, I agree. New Heights podcast. Thank you, Tess. It was on that YouTube channel. New Heights is what it's called. Okay. Peanut Butter Nose. Is that Leave Jim alone with her? I thought he had dark hair. Amber, do you know? Dude. These bugs, man. I want to be, like, I could totally stream inside easily, but I like to be outside because, especially when we're doing like a more laid back, just hanging out and chit-chatting about a case or whatever we're talking about, where I'm not having to do a lot of reading or whatever. I want to be able to sit back and smoke a cigarette and just hang out with you guys. We think it's Sean, maybe. Okay. That's true. Sprinkled donut. All right. Can't remember if there was any. I was just going to let the pictures play through and watch it with you guys. I do, Tess. Look at them. They were so precious. I will always feel like NK knew a lot more than she admitted to knowing. I don't know why, but that video she recorded at the dunes when she takes her glasses off and calls him Christopher, I laugh. I just don't know why. It felt weird. Dude, yes, I agree. It's just so awkward and cringy. This is so nostalgic. It feels like an old reunion. 7 years. God rest her beautiful souls. Yeah, I still think she was way more involved. I haven't let it go either. A for Advocate. I just watched the Watts documentary on Netflix again for the 100th time. Oh, that's so cool, Patricia. Patricia's niece was chosen from the audience at a Taylor Swift contest. Okay. I want to get my phone so I can show y'all that. I was thinking about it. I was watching it. Really, I'm not a Swiftie. I do like some of her music, but I was trying to screen it for a little one to watch it, so I was gonna watch it first. Oh my God, look at that picture. She's so precious. Here, let me share this link with you guys. I don't know. I just was so completely immersed in this case, like just knee deep all day, every day, watching and listening to, like Nicole's interviews. Just have it in the earbuds while you're doing your chores, while you're doing this. The same way I'm watching live streams these days, but back then it was just all what stuff, Shanann's videos, like a little ponytail. Hey, Tony. Oh. I don't know, man. You could have just gotten a divorce. Now you're going to go off and get married again. And if that's true, maybe that has totally changed the way Cindy has. Cindy's taken a lot of, Chris's mom has gotten a lot of backlash too for supporting Chris, but not only that, for also some of the things that she would say and stuff while she was. Now, that we've looked at so many other cases and stuff, like look at Stephen Stern's mom. A lot of these moms are, a lot of these moms are like that, but maybe this has made her see things differently with Shanann's family. According to the Rumble video we just watched, his parents were really upset and sad for her family because of the heartbreak that news would cause them. And as much as I don't want them to be upset, I hope that's true. I hope that they are feeling that way and that they care, Okay, 7, I hope you have a good night at work. Admit says, that beautiful family, stunning wifey and kids, what did he do? I know. I assume you don't mean actually like what, the case, but you mean like, why would he do this? Harley Quinn. I think people don't let it go because he is so sick. Bobby Joe, I've watched some of that a little bit, but at the end of the day, whether you believe that this was just Chris alone or that he had help from his mistress or whatever Chris did this, okay? And whether your theory is he had help or not, he is to blame. He's exactly where he should be. You know what? You can date somebody. You can marry somebody in prison. Go right the fuck ahead, buddy. But guess what you won't be doing? You'll never be getting laid, okay? You'll never be going and having, grandkids and going to football games together and going on family vacations. You're never going to do any of that shit. So he's right where he needs to be. And even if he does get married and he's allowed that pleasure in life to have like a partner, a loving partner, even though he doesn't fucking deserve it, it's never going to be a real marriage or a real whatever. And I hope that woman realizes that. Wake up, lady, if you would be listening, which I'm sure she's not. But look, go find yourself a man who's actually a man. I don't know how you could ever be attracted to somebody who's capable of doing something like this. Look at these babies. And especially we talked about on Amber's, he was incredibly cruel with what he did and how he did it. These babies were awake in the car, with their mom at their feet. And according to him, at one point, ask him, why, or, don't asking him not to do it after watching what he had done so far. I'm sorry, but if you find that attractive, you need to not worry about a man. Go to the damn doctor and then find you a man, and not one in prison, because nobody, like, you deserve more than that. She didn't kill somebody, she didn't take the life of anybody, but A for Advocate, her name's all over out there. I'll just say her name's Lizzie, but I'll tell you in private. I'm not going to blast her here tonight just because I didn't redact when I put out the records of who was visiting him. I didn't redact anything. I kind of think if you're going to prison to visit him, you better know that everything's public record and people can find that out. It's your choice if you want to go and visit him. If you want to communicate with him, go right ahead. But you might be put on a visitors list that makes it into the news or somewhere someday. Neat, right? You and Tess. He absolutely is where he belongs. I can't believe, 10 and 12. I think they would be 10 and almost 12 at the end of this year. I don't know what my phone is. I'm going. Wait, here it is. Okay. So let me look because I actually saved it. So Bella was born December 17th of 2013. So she would be 12 in December. And then Cece was born July the 17th of 2015. One of those, one of the things I saw when I was looking for anything recent to talk to you guys about tonight, I just wanted to talk about everything at one time in one place. I saw, Chris Watts celebrating his daughter's 10th birthday in prison. I don't know that that's true. I wouldn't believe anything I read about this case. I'd be, especially from some random person on YouTube. But also, I'm not going to believe anything I see anywhere anymore, especially after Dateline lied to us, just flat out freaking lied. I'm done. If it's not in a court record, which I've been screaming this from the beginning, but I'm going to keep repeating it so that everybody who's interested in researching these things knows. If it's not in a court document or doesn't come from the police, even sometimes when it does come from the prosecutor, it can be wrong. But if it doesn't come from an official source like that, I wouldn't believe it. Period. Okay. So here is when I'm going to wrap it up with the Watt stuff now, though, and just chat with you guys for a minute. But here is the Taylor Swift, the screenshot from... Oh, look, there's Koberger's mom and sister leaving his hearing. It hasn't come through yet. It's going to. Just 1 second. It's loading. There's some really interesting stuff coming out. Apparently, he called his parents a lot, obsessively, and still does, even in prison. Or, in jail, in prison. And apparently, he called his mom mother. Taylor Swift on Reclaiming Her Masters, Wrapping the Eras Tour. 1.3 million watching. That is crazy. Hey, Nurse Kristen. Nico be nearly 7. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, Liz. How rude of me, for real. That's crazy to think about. Documents necessary always. Dude, Dateline, they came out, and I've said this before, but they came out and they have that Idaho 4 episode, and then we have a hearing right after, and Ann Taylor files documents. All this information came out on Dateline. It's, tampering the jury pool. They put a special prosecutor on the case. So I believed everything that came out. They had video footage of him leaving the scene that had never been released. Okay, they obviously have to have a legitimate source, right? Okay, yeah, they did. But the source either purposely lied or something, because Dateline flat out said Brian Koberger sat down in Xana's room in a chair. There was evidence of him sitting down and maybe like took a break, got winded for a second. And then they said that they used the word carved regarding Ethan's wounds, and none of that was true. Those two things weren't true. The investigators were pissed. They said it was a gross misrepresentation of what actually happened. You know, it's not right. I'm over it. Hey, Bushi. What he did is unimaginable, but then to leave the girls where he left them and alone, not even with their mama. I have so many questions about that peanut butter conspiracy. Why did he separate them? You know, why? And that makes me think it's possible there was someone that could have helped him. Here's the thing. When I get really annoyed when like I hear some of the wild and crazy conspiracies, but then there are certain cases where I believe I fall into some of it. Like with this one, there are so many things that just don't add up for me. But he, you know, there was only a couple months. Tammy went on to the news, one of the investigators, and said, or onto Oxygen or Lifetime when those documentaries came out, you know, right after Netflix. She said, we quit. We were, you know, right in the middle of this, running full speed, and we just stopped. I wish we would have kept investigating. We didn't finish. When he pled guilty, that was it. What else would they uncover? Would they have uncovered? I don't know. I fall into the conspiracy there a little bit. And then I think with other cases, like if someone was involved, they would be arrested. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong and it was just him. But what brought me to that in the first place, with the girls being separated, was there an issue with time? And that's why, you know, and it would be quicker that way. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm just, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I always thought that Chris had that girl over that night and Shanann came home out of nowhere and caught them. Well, you know, there's a good reason why you thought that, with her phone pinging over near the house that day. And when I started reading through the discovery recently, one of the first things I saw, the garage, there was an alarm that the garage door closed, you know, a half an hour before Chris got home that day. Who was that? And there's many other things. If you have a boyfriend and you find out his family is missing and police are investigating him, the last thing you're going to do is go Google about Amber Fry, break your SIM card, and all that shit. Try to mess up the investigation. Would you not want to help? Would you not? I don't give a crap if there's naked pictures in my phone. You can see every one of them. If it's going to help you find these babies, like for real. Is that not like what you're like? For me, that's the natural next step. Who gives a shit about a nude photo? There's children missing. And little kids at that. They're so little. Ugh. Just hear her in my head saying that. But I don't know. Plea deals prevent truth, in my opinion. Well, I think that maybe when I do see a difference with the recent ones and with Chris's. And that's only because we know the investigation didn't continue with his. Like some of the stuff was the cell phone data and different things couldn't have even been back yet. I'm sure they were still waiting on information to come in. With Stearns and Koberger, they were so close to trial. I think that they had already done all the investigating, like they were finished. So that's the one difference I see with the two. But yeah, exactly. But you have a conscience. I don't know. How you doing, Johnny? The way he disposed of their bodies makes me sick. I believe he did it all on his own. Who else? I know Bendy feels that way. There was more to that. That's what happens when they put a ridiculous gag order. It makes me think about, Wade Wilson and all the women that are after him. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, for real, there's an issue when you're attracted to somebody who's capable of what he did. He is one of the most vicious, dirtiest, nastiest killers and cases I've ever looked into. When we researched his history and his past, oh my God, it's what nightmares are made of. I'm not even going to talk about it because it was just so, he's that twisted and you're attracted to him. I don't give a shit if he does look halfway decent in a suit or whatever. Look what he's capable of. All right, so Christine says, from what I understand, he slashed Ethan's hamstring. So before we go, let's take a look at this just really quick because this is really very interesting and I want to talk about it anyways. And okay. Apparently he's complaining about the inmates taunting him. Fox News did an interview with the experts who would have testified who did the Cellbrite reports. So that's what I want to find. Just give me 1 second to find it and then the Independent also talked to them. All right, let's take a look. Maybe this was the article I was thinking of. Let's just take a look at it together. So, Brian Kohberger prepared for the murders. The expert was set to testify. He didn't just Google these cases. Dude. At 2:54 a.m., Kohberger's phone went dark. The battery hadn't died. It wasn't randomly powered off. It was silenced with precision. Wi-Fi and cellular data were disabled. No location tracking on and no background activity. A deliberate blackout during the exact window prosecutors say 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered at their off-campus home. 2 hours later, at 4:48 a.m., the phone turned back on. It would be months before investigators fully understood what that gap in activity meant. So, Heather Barnhart, the senior director of forensic research at Cellbrite, told The Independent, "What we learned is he prepared." Her and her colleague, Jared, were slated to testify at his trial before the plea deal. The Cellbrite team had uncovered files scrubbed from devices, searches routed through VPNs, and deep downloads about serial killers, all of which they say painted a chilling picture of obsession and planning. While DNA from the knife sheath ultimately tied Kohberger to the crime scene, it was the voids in his otherwise trackable life that revealed how the killings were premeditated. So they said his phone only had 4 moments of total inactivity going back to June of 2022. And this was one of them. They say, he had been immersed in the study of crime, but according to digital forensics team, his interests crossed the line from academic to obsessive. He didn't just Google these cases. He downloaded full PDFs of case files, not once, but repeatedly. He was also downloading detailed reports on serial killers, including Danny Rawling, who I think we're going to talk about him in the similarities soon with Jen. This wasn't casual browsing. This was meticulous research. And she says that this, I didn't know this. To make your phone truly untrackable, you don't just power it off. You have to disable Wi-Fi, then disable data, and then power down. And that is what he did. So he knew, he had researched how do you have to do it. He was diligent in prep and cleanup. Okay, so they found scrubbed files, private browsing, VPN activity, obsessive downloads. He also downloaded reports on the Idaho murders and extensive searches of his victims. Now, not after, though. This is before. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Not before, after. That's the way I understand it. Like, he was searching about the murders and the victims, meaning after the murders. That's just the way I take that, though. The team pointed out, despite law enforcement's hard work, there was a period of time from the time that the crime happened until identifying arrest, the phone seizure, and then phone extraction. So some of the best information was likely wiped. Let me show you. It also talked about the Wi-Fi. He connected to the Mad Greek's Wi-Fi. So remember, we heard he had been to the Mad Greek, and apparently that was true. Oh, I meant to pull up the stuff about Dateline too. That's what we were talking about, but then this is on my mind as well. His relationship with Mother. It said that his while much of his activity pointed to calculated isolation, one relationship remained steady, his connection to his parents. Starting at 6 a.m. the morning after the murders, he's calling and texting his mom and dad nonstop. It was incessant. But it was also one of the only things he did that matched his normal behavior. The expert said the moment we started to look at the messaging, it made me think of Bates Motel, referencing the horror movie Psycho. I mean, it was like Mother and the labeled Mother, the constant contact with his mom. It was wild. On December 29th, the day before his arrest, Kohberger began calling and texting his parents obsessively, just as he had on the morning of the murders. The same day, he searched terms like paranoid, psychopath, and wiretapping. It was obviously weighing on him. So I found that really interesting. And then the article about, I would just share the link with you guys about Dateline being wrong because I'm outside and it's starting to rain. Hold on. It gets really loud too on the roof after a second. Okay. You know what? Actually, I will share a post with you guys after if you want to see, or you can just look up Brian Kohberger Dateline, and the most recent article will be the one. It was the one with Fox News then, and then the Independent was this one. But I've never seen the movie Psycho. I want to see that. I wonder if he called her mother because of Norman Bates. It's possible because it seems like he's copying, others. Airplane mode when I nap is useless. Dang it. No, it won't. You won't get any calls, but all right, you guys. I'm going to let you go, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you for going through all of this information with me. This will probably be the last time we talk Watts for a long time, unless something else new comes out. We talked about when Dylan's books were taken off the market. We talked when Nicole Kessinger was spotted, or if we go over to Amber's. But I definitely wanted to just kind of touch base on all of these things at one time. So thank you for hanging out with me and going through it a little bit in a laid back way. I'm going to go add all the links to the description. Well, the Rumble link and anything else right here that I think you guys want to see. And yeah, bye, Advocate. I'm leaving too. I think he might have been, Valerie. I think he might have been casing the house, but I'm not sure. But see, I told you guys the rain gets loud. All right, I will see you tomorrow. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I hope you have a great night. Bye. Thank you to the mob.